What's going on YouTube? Isaac Lewis here, man. Today is a video about how to get rid of or work around. I don't want to put a name to it, but let's just say it rhymes with lighter but ends with block. And that's what I'll be doing today in today's video. Today I'll be showing you how to create a better workflow process and show you 7 different ways to navigate around this little issue that we have as writers. Cue the intro. I got a little bit of a different video from what I would usually do today. And it's about, I can't say it because I don't want to give it a name, because if you give something a name, it has power. But I'm going to tell you it just rhymes with lighter, ends with block. I just say it that way. What I wanted to tell you guys today is I want to give you guys some tips of how to avoid it and how to alleviate it so you can continue doing what you're doing, which is creating these beautiful masterpieces in your mind. Tip number 1, enhance your workspace. If you can't come into your workspace and you can't feel comfortable when you're writing, and you always feel agitated or aggravated, and you can't get in your best creative flow process, make sure you are looking to tighten up your area that you work in. Declutter. If you have to declutter, declutter. By all means. It actually helps. You would think that it wouldn't, but if you walk into your workspace and it's completely disorganized, then it's going to actually assist with you having this type of issue, which is lighter ends with block. So declutter, that'd be the first step that you can do to actually assist yourself to avoid these narrow curves where we can help navigate through the paths where we actually often hit these roadblocks where we can work around them and keep moving. So yes, declutter. And tip number 2, I recommend you the lighting in the room. If you are a person who likes working in dark places, like for instance, if it's just you in the dark light of your screen, I would suggest you actually put yourself in a different environment, especially if you are having writer block issues. If you're not having writer block issues, this video or this type of recommendation isn't for you. But if you are one of those people who do write in dark places, tend to write in dark places, and tend to gravitate towards dark places, try something else, because that all actually helps with the creative process. You remember, this is about the creative process. You want it to flow as naturally as possible, kind of like pouring water out of a glass. And another recommendation is put things around you that actually inspires you. It could be paintings, poems, favorite quotes from your writers, motivational speeches. It could be anything that actually gets you to where you need to be. Read a book, because sometimes it actually helps you at least start writing something at least similar to what you will be writing. You know, if it may not be yours, but reading can help you start your own writing process. So yes, I would definitely recommend reading. And tip number 2, make sure you are setting blocks, working blocks. So you don't want to sit in front of a computer for hours upon hours and you're not getting anything done. You don't want to do that. That actually stops you from progress. You want to continue to move forward. So there's a saying that I love that Denzel Washington says, and it's fall forward. You don't want to fall backwards. Always think about falling forward. So when you're setting your writing goals, make sure you sit down and you take those 25-minute to 30-minute or even 45-minute blocks of time where you're just going to write. Don't worry about coffee. Don't worry about refilling your cup of water. Make sure you have all that ready to go so that way you're not being distracted. Put your phone on airplane mode. As hard as that sounds, especially if you have kids or you have family members who are sick, I know it's hard to do, but at least put your phone on vibrate or silent, just so that way you don't have that constant pinging over phone that just won't stop. It's continuous. And nowadays with technology, your phone will ping for anything. It could be a video game or an app that has nothing to do with how you're going to live your life for the next 10 years. And they just ping on and off, and it's just to get you to pick up and distract you from your goals, which is writing. Make sure you are putting your phone on silent or turn it face down at least so it only rings. You can hear the ringtone. But that goes to say you need to make sure that you are focused and at their highest level when you're writing books or writing anything. And tip number 3, make sure you plan the time and make it happen. This is so important because if you're writing a book, right, you have to make sure you plan to write a book. It sounds comical. It's common sense. There is no book if you don't write it. You can't even get your book to an editor if it isn't written. You need a product to get it to the editor so the editor can send you back a product. So you need to plan to write your book. I don't care if it's your off days. If you're like me, I work full time. I work a full-time job. I have a 9 to 5. I want to be traditional published, but as of right now, I work 8 to 5. So what I did was I knew what time I got off. I knew what time I had before my children got home. So I would pick maybe 3 to 4 hours out of that day after I, got the kids. We played, practiced baseball, basketball after we did that. And then from there, I showered, got comfortable, got relaxed, and I wrote for 3 to 4 hours. Now, not saying that I was writing for pure quality at this point, because when you're writing a book, the first thing you want to do is you want to jot down the story, how it unfolds. That's the first thing that you want to tend to do. But now, since I'm completed my first book, my second book will be a little bit more of a process. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to take more time than I actually did with my first book because I know, coming from you based off experience, how important it is to just pause, pump your brakes, and 1,000 words, 1,000 quality words is better than 4,000 words that just spammed out straight off your head. So remember, 1,000 words is greater than any amount of words you can write, especially if there's quality there in those 1,000 words, because when you send it to your editor, that actually lessens the work for your editor, even though you're paying them, but it actually, you're going to send them something quality, something that they're going to have to heavily go and edit and start splashing out things that you already written that had nothing to do with the story or doesn't change the story for that fact. So just make sure you plan to write the book. And tip number 4, try a writing prompt. Now, a writing prompt could be anything simple. You could spaz off a few poems, spaz off your daily rituals, spaz off whatever it is that makes you feel good about yourself. I'm going to employ that you start with a writing prompt that makes you feel good about yourself. What's going to make you feel good about writing this book? What is so distinguishable about writing a book? These are things that a lot of people don't do. Like, there's people who want to be authors, but they don't know how because they don't think they're good enough. But you are starting right now. You are starting. You got to the point where you had the idea, you pulled up the Google Doc, and you are writing. And you're writing this book, and you made it through your first chapter, and you sit back and you say, take that nice deep breath and exhale, and then you realize that, okay, I got something going. So about time you get to your 6th chapter, it's already going to be flowing. You're going to be like that river, baby. It's going to be flowing down the river into the ocean pretty soon. So yes, try some writing prompts. Makes you feel good about yourself. It also will create the workflow process a lot better as far as when you're writing a book and you stop and keep coming to a stopping point. So yes, do that. And tip number 5, it's okay to be flawed when you're writing. Don't worry about that. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you get to a point where you simply don't know which way to go. There's multiple ways you can go, or you see little ways to go, but guys, it's okay. What I'm going to advise you to do is to stop. Bring in those life experiences. Bring in those favorite action movies. Bring in those favorite comics. And start to think about all these different things that you can put into this bowl and stir it. And finally, when the stirring is done, the batter is ready, nice and sweet, put it into the oven and bake it, because that's how the creative process works. It's a collection of memories and experiences that you have already had, and you are mixing it into your own. You bake it, and now you have your own, which is still original story, guys. Don't get me wrong. Original story is original story. If you create a story and it has anything, if it's relatable to you in any type of way, that is an original story because that book is relatable only to you. And a lot of authors write their stories inside of their books. It may not be the full and complete story, but it's their stories ultimately, which is why we love books so much. So it's okay to be flawed, guys. Don't worry. Just take your time. It'll come to you. I guarantee you. And number six, read. Of course, I said this ago. Make sure you're reading because that actually helps you to not only know how writing is, how on par your writing is with what's out there currently as far as in the market. You want to know how people are writing in your market segment. So if you're going to be writing classicals or you're going to be writing psychologicals, thrillers, suspenses, crime, fantasy, you want to know what is out there, what is on par, because if you can do that, you're able to avoid these writer blocks. Back to what I was saying, because my phone just dinged off and I was telling you guys, it's just like that. You could be completely taken off your grind, and your motivation is to be it'd be snapped out of in the quick of that with the sound of that that's it. That's all it takes, guys, to be on this. Oh, let me try my Clash of the Clans app. Oh, let me see what they're doing on here. Let me donate. It doesn't matter, guys. Stay away from it, silence it, and just keep moving. But like I was saying, you want to know what's being written in your market. You want to know how everybody is writing. Who's the top person in your market? Go to the bookstore, go to Target, go to Barnes and Nobles, and see who's the big enchilada on your bookshelf in your genre, because reading those books can help you understand where you need to elevate your writing to and where it needs to go. And number 7, last but not least, why I said it rhymes with lighter and ends with block is because when you give it a name, you give it power. Don't do that. Just think of it as this. For a better term, think of it as the creative process. You are working on your creative process. It hit a small bump in the road, a fork in the road actually, and you're just simply deciding which way you should go. You hit the fork and you just want to decide which way you want to go, and how you want to go about it is strictly up to you and only you, and you can only decide, because at the end of the day, this is your book, nobody else's. So guys, that's it for today. Make sure you like and subscribe. Click that like button, click that subscribe button, and hit that bell for notifications, guys. If you like videos like this where I'm showing you how to write books and, giving you different tips to create these workflow processes, subscribe, guys. I got more content coming like this. I'm going to try to do a video at least a day, and this is in between me writing my book and editing and preparing to start book 2 of my next series. And I haven't even got it out there yet, but guys, make sure you like and subscribe, guys. More good content. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. It's Boz Lewis again. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. I don't know how many times I got to say this, but subscribe. And this is Boz Lewis signing out, guys. See you later.